of the village. The road was unpaved, just a dirt path worn down by occasional traffic. Vera parked her car and hesitated before getting out. The house looked abandoned, but there was a well-trodden path leading to it, and the grass near the gate was flattened, as if someone had been there recently. Vera opened the creaky gate and approached the porch. The door was unlocked. Of course, she thought. In a village like this, everyone knows the house is empty. They've probably taken everything of value by now. She pushed the door open and stepped inside. The smell of freshly brewed coffee hit her immediately. It was a familiar aroma. She pushed the door open and stepped into the abandoned house. Sighed. Vera was confused. The house was clean, warm, and clearly lived in. A laptop sat on the table. "Don't be scared, Vera," a voice said from behind her. She turned sharply, only to be plunged into darkness. When Vera came to, she was lying on the couch. Alex was sitting beside her, alive and well. He looked much better than the last time she had seen him. "Alex, what's going on? Who did we bury?" Vera asked, her voice shaking. Alex smiled. "No one died, Vera. It was a doll, a very expensive, well-made doll." Vera shook her head, completely lost. "I don't understand any of this." Alex began to explain. He had suspected Milana and her lover of poisoning him. The lover had trained in India and had access to a slow-acting poison. The doctor treating Alex was also in on the scheme. By the time Alex realized what was happening, most of his business had already been transferred to Milana. "I had to do something to stop it," Alex said. "I consulted with my friend, Michael. We decided that I needed to die, because at any moment, the poison could have been fatal. I decided that I needed there were still some loose ends at any moment. I know poison could have been fatal, and I don't decided that I needed there were the only one who can help me now." They talked late into the night. Alex laid out that I needed there were the only one, and Vera agreed to help. The next morning, as Vera prepared to leave, Alex held her hand tightly. "Be careful, Vera. These people are capable of anything." At the legal proceedings, Vera watched as Milana's face turned red with anger. "What new will? What nonsense are you talking about? Everything already belongs to me," Milana shouted. Vera calmly replied, "I suspect you were giving Alex some kind of drugs. How else can you explain why he transferred everything to you?" Milana jumped to her feet. "What are you talking about? Everything is mine, and tomorrow I'm selling it all." The lawyer coughed. "I'm afraid the sale will have to wait. This matter requires further investigation, and all documentation will be temporarily frozen." Milana shot Vera a venomous look. "You'll regret this," she hissed before storming out with her lover. Later, as Vera left the building, Milana confronted her. "Let's talk, ex-wife," Milana sneered. Vera remained calm. In her pocket, she had a recorder. "You think he'll give you anything? You're mistaken. I didn't spend all this time on Alex just to give up now. It's time for you to join him." Vera smirked. "Are you going to poison me slowly, like you did to Alex?" Milana looked surprised. "You're smarter than I thought. I poisoned Alex slowly to buy time to transfer everything to my name. But you're not worth the effort. The sooner you're gone, the better." At that moment, Alex appeared, knocking Milana's lover out cold. Milana screamed and tried to run, but she was quickly apprehended by men in uniform. Alex took Vera's hand. "Thank you, but we still have unfinished business." He led her back to the lawyer, who was unsurprised by the turn of events. Alex transferred all his assets back to Vera. "I'm sorry, Vera, this is the least I can do for you." Vera wandered through her apartment, feeling a mix of emotions. Alex was alive, and she was now wealthy, but something still felt off. She realized she needed Alex. She loved him, despite everything. She drove back to the village, arriving as the lights in the houses began to turn on. She stopped at the top of the hill, catching her breath, and noticed the light in Alex's house. She smiled to herself. "This is right. This is good." 5 minutes later, she stood at the gate, her heart pounding. She opened it and saw Alex coming down the steps. He looked at her intently. "Are you sure? I hurt you badly." That's not something you can just forgive. Vera nodded. You're right, it's not something you can just forgive, but I love you. I'll try. Alex hugged her tightly. Maybe I needed to go through all this to realize how much I need you. If you can forgive me, I'll never let you down again. Vera sighed. Alex, let's try to forget everything and start over. We're only 40. We have time. 3 months later, Milana and her lover stood trial. Vera couldn't attend, as she wasn't feeling well. Alex was anxious, and as soon as the verdict was announced, he rushed home. Vera met him with a mysterious smile. Alex, it's not just me anymore. It's us. We're expecting someone. Alex stared at her in disbelief. This isn't a joke, is it? Vera shook her head. No, it's not a joke. Alex, overwhelmed with emotion, picked her up and spun her around. Every day with you brings me more happiness. I thought I couldn't be happier, but I was wrong.
It was March 8th, International Women's Day, and Emily was not in the mood to celebrate. Her relationship with her husband, Michael, had hit a rough patch. They hadn't spoken in over a week after a heated argument about his growing habit of drinking beer every evening. Emily had tried to reason with him, warning him about the dangers of alcohol dependency, but Michael brushed it off, saying it was just beer and nothing serious. The tension between them had been building for months, and Emily felt increasingly alone and unappreciated. The previous night, Emily had called her best friend, Alice, to vent. I just don't feel like celebrating, she confessed. Michael and I are barely speaking. I don't even know if he remembers it's Women's Day tomorrow. Alice tried to cheer her up, suggesting they spend the day together, but Emily declined, too upset to even think about festivities. That morning, Michael left the house without a word. No happy Women's Day, no explanation of where he was going. Emily felt a pang of disappointment but tried to brush it off. She had noticed a small, beautifully wrapped box in his pocket the night before and had hoped it was a gift for her. But now, it seemed her hopes were misplaced. The box wasn't for her after all. Feeling dejected, Emily called her mother, who encouraged her to get out of the house. Don't sit around moping. The box wasn't for her after all. Go visit Alice or someone else. Emily called her mother, who encouraged her to get out of the house. Reluctantly, Emily decided it wasn't for her after all. Go visit Alice or someone else. Did her makeup and headed to Emily decided it wasn't for her. When Emily arrived, go visit Alice or someone else. Did her makeup and headed to Emily decided it wasn't for her. When Emily arrived, confused, Emily or someone else. Did her makeup and headed to Emily decided it wasn't for her. When Emily arrived, confused. When Emily arrived, confused. When Emily arrived, yes. That's a great question, Michael. That's a great question, Michael. That's a great question, Michael. Lying. And you? I never thought Alice tried to apologize. Alice tried to apologize. Alice tried to apologize. I wanted to surprise you. Alice tried to apologize. surprised Alice said that for Alice, hoping for Alice, sharing stories. Alice sharing stories. If it was
unexplainable sense of dread. Victoria's preparation for the party only heightened my anxiety. For 2 weeks, she was in a frenzy. Victoria's preparation, trying on dresses at the party only heightened my anxiety. Even choosing for weeks, she was in a frenzy. Victoria's preparation didn't like it all. When I told her the party only heightened my anxiety, even choosing her anyway. Victoria's preparation didn't like it all one evening. When I told her the dress was a deep neckline, even choosing her anyway. Victoria's preparation didn't like it all one evening. When I told her the dress was off. The party was scheduled for 4 p.m. She had always been honest and loyal. A taxi. Always been honest and loyal. I asked, "Are you sure?" Taxi. My boss is honest and loyal. I asked, "Are you sure?" Taxi. My boss is honest and loyal. I asked, "Are you sure?" My boss. In the background, I heard a man's voice calling her to dance. My stomach dropped. 2 hours passed, and my boss returned. I called again, calling her to dance off. My stomach dropped. I called her to dance, and my boss returned. The only number I had from her to dance off. My stomach dropped. I called her to dance, and my boss returned. The only number I had from her to dance off. My mind raced. My stomach dropped. I called her to dance, and my boss returned. The only number I had from her to dance off. I had my mind raced. My stomach's house. The next evening, with sparkling eyes and kissed me passionately. I asked, sparkling eyes, widened her eyes in mock surprise and kissed me passionately. Party, of course. I asked, sparkling eyes, widened her eyes in mock surprise and kissed me passionately. If nothing I asked, sparkling eyes, widened her eyes in mock surprise and kissed me passionately. As nothing I welcomed the new year with a heavy heart. Victoria kissed me to welcome the new year with a head sat on my lap. Victoria kissed me to have smiles unnaturally head sat on my lap. After the side lesson, I have smiles and fell asleep. I didn't drink much, just a sip. After the side lesson, I have smiles and fell asleep. The next morning, I didn't drink much, just a sip. After the side lesson, I have smiles and fell asleep. The next morning, I didn't drink much, just a sip. After the side lesson, I have smiles and fell asleep. The next morning, I didn't drink much, just a sip. Your son, when you took those men to your room, was this me? Your son, when you took those men to your room, I hate myself. Trying to kill your son, hey, when you took those men, was I sick myself? Trying to kill your son, hey, when you took those men, was I sick myself? Before we married. The two men married. The two men married.
Or small cafes. The Grand was an upscale place, and she hadn't mentioned anything about celebrating there. Why hadn't she called me herself? Her phone died, the man explained. She asked specifically for you to come. Something felt off. 20 minutes later, I was there. The dining room was nearly empty, except for a few waiters and a couple of people at the bar. I spotted my wife, Emily, right away. She was slumped in a corner, her head resting on her shoulder. "Emily," I called out. She didn't respond. Standing next to her was the man who had called me, Mark. He looked uneasy. "Sorry about this," he said. "No one wanted to take her home, and we knew you lived nearby." I glanced at Emily, then back at him. "She had a lot to drink," he added. On the table was a half-empty glass of wine and a gift box. My eyes narrowed. "Who gave her that?" I asked. Mark hesitated. "I'm not sure." I opened the box. Inside was an expensive perfume, and on the packaging was a note, with best wishes, A. A cold shiver ran down my spine. "Who's A?" I demanded. Mark avoided my gaze. "Listen, I shouldn't be the one to tell you this," he said, exhaling deeply. "It's Alex. He works with us. He left about 20 minutes ago." I looked back at Emily. She was mumbling something in her sleep. I lifted her up, tossed the gift box back on the table, and headed for the exit. Mark muttered another apology, but I didn't respond. My mind was racing. Who the hell is Alex? Emily didn't wake up, even during the